Right, I've only turned this camera on for note-taking. So far I've had a look at M57 at 35x, M56 at 35x, the dumbbell at 35x. Of the three, the globular cluster showed no stars at 35x, so we weren't seeing down to 12 plus magnitude. The ring nebula was kind of small and tidy, but I couldn't really make out the central dark region. Actually, the dumbbell nebula looked quite nice. I then went on to poke around with the supernova remnant, the Veil complex. The witch's broom was barely perceptible. I then toured around to the other ones. I think witch's broom was 6960, and then I just progressed through the catalog to get to a couple more. The last two were great. The actual eastern veil, and I think it is a northern part of it or a southern part of it. I'm not sure which direction the scope was going. It's a refractor. What the heck with a diagonal? Anyway, actually the highest surface brightness was the last aspect of the veil. I think it was 6992. I then went on to NGC 7000 series. I tried to see NGC 7001, 12.9 magnitude galaxy in Aquarius, 1.4 by 1.1, spiral AB, 324 million light years distant, right ascension 210707, and right on the celestial equator at 11 minutes and 43 seconds. Negative, no luck with that 12.9 magnitude galaxy. I then went to Delphinus. Didn't waste my time at NGC 7003, 13th magnitude. I then proceeded to the globular cluster that was really astonishing, NGC 7006, that very distant globular cluster in Delphinus, magnitude 10.6, 2.8 arc minutes in size. No sense of the central star, of course, at magnitude 15.6. This class 1 globular cluster is 133,000 light years distant, and I could hold it on direct vision, so I'm impressed with that. That probably means it's somewhere around 12.5 average ASB, so not bad. I had seen the Intergalactic Wanderer in Gemini once at, I think it was 10.4 magnitude, so this is the faintest I've seen with a 6-inch scope. Right ascension 210129, declination 161114. I was going to go after planetary nebula 7008, but it's too far north at 54 degrees. I did take a look at NGC 7009, a planetary nebula in Aquarius, magnitude 8.3, 28 by 23 arc seconds, with its central star at 12.9, 4,300 light years distant. Planetary was quite obvious. The central brightening was apparent, although I couldn't necessarily call it a star, but yeah, probably at 12.9. At this point, with the galaxy and the globular cluster, I'm operating at roughly 70x, so I'm up close to what a normal magnification I run when I'm doing imaging. The right ascension on 7009 is 210410, declination 11 minus 112149. So seeing that 12.9 magnitude central star, if I did at minus 11 degrees, was quite good. Now, I've skipped over a couple of galaxies, and then I arrived at a galaxy NGC 7013, a galaxy in Cygnus, magnitude 11.3, quite large, 4.5 by 1.4 arc minutes, spiral of the lowercase a, 35 million light years distant, right ascension 210333, declination plus 2953, 49, and I was able to detect that galaxy. Now I'm going to go back in for another look at 70x to see if it can be held on direct vision. Okay, I can't quite be sure about 7013. I did do a synchronization to Enif, but then we went about 15 degrees further north. There was a faint glow that brightened on a version that was off probably to the 8 o'clock position from the center, maybe about a half an inch or an inch. In arc minutes, that would probably be about 3 or 4. the faint glow did seem to expand with an aura of nebulosity. I can't be absolutely sure. An 11.6 magnitude galaxy of 4.3 by 1.6 is going to have a pretty significant average surface brightness. Like I said, at best I could basically hold the core direct. It looked like a very faint star, and there did seem to be some aura around it, so I'm going to call it a tentative yes on NGC 7013. We'll look for some other candidates. I'd like to be able to see something in that magnitude 10 range, but keep in mind they keep getting larger and larger, spreading out their light more and more. But 70x should give the best view. I will tell you about the sky right now. It's kind of bright. It's not as bad as it was last night. It was miserable last night. But sitting inside the observatory, you can definitely tell the difference between the walls of the observatory and the night sky. I would not claim it's particularly, especially good night, but the Milky Way is quite present overhead, and I do believe I can see, if I poke my head out, I should be able to see the Cygnus rift. So let's move on and see if we can get a brighter galaxy that we can really confirm. There's a faint open cluster in Cygnus, NGC 7036. I will look up the data now. I was just able to basically hold a few of its brighter stars. To determine that it was actually an open cluster required eye movement, however. So this is a fairly faint one. NGC 736 is going to take a little bit for the Gemini 2 to access the data in the base. It's an open cluster in Pegasus, magnitude 12, 8 by 5 arc minutes, 3,300 light years distant. Now, I have to say, it's very odd that I can see any stars at all. If this is a cumulative magnitude 12, the faintest stars are going to be close to magnitude 14.5. So I was able to hold a couple though, but that doesn't sound about right. I'd have to find out what the magnitude of the stars are in NGC 7036. Okay, I'm now having a look at NGC 7078, otherwise known as Messier 15. I started off at 70x. It wasn't very satisfying. It was a glowing ball. So I put the 2x Barlow in the scope, and now I'm looking at 140. NGC 7078 is a global cluster in Pegasus. Magnitude 15, 6.4 overall magnitude, 12.3 arc minutes in size. The brightest stars are 12.6. It's a class 4, 33,000 light years distant. Right ascension 212958, declination 121001. Now, what I'm trying to do is see if I can actually resolve some of the brightest stars. Unfortunately, there's a nearby star, probably of about the 10th or 9th magnitude. I can't quite get perfect focus on it. So stability is not good tonight. That's going to make all I'm seeing is some graininess in the globular cluster. However, if I do avert my eyes, I can make out some kind of more distant members of the globular cluster in magnitude, probably around magnitude 13. So not the best view as I might have hoped for. I'm going to be wrapping up soon. I'm going to try a few galaxies at higher magnifications just for the heck of it. And I think I'll be running into Messier 2 as well. So we'll look for that, and then I'm going to Carpe Noctem out. Okay, I'm having a look at NGC 7089, that globular cluster, which is also known as Messier 2. Let me look up the data. Once again, it's just a big glowing ball, but I would say it's slightly fainter than Messier 15. Get a sense of graininess on eye movement with maybe a few stars popping out that are part of the cluster. This is M2, magnitude 6.5, 11.7 arc minutes in size. Brightest stars are magnitude 13.1, so that's probably just a little beyond the scope on this evening. On the best of nights, magnitude 13.5 at 1 millimeter exit pupil 150x. This is a class 2, 37,000 light years distant. Right ascension 213327. Declination right up near the celestial equator at 49 minutes and 23 seconds south. So we're gonna call it a night now. One thing I do want to do in my next session before the moon becomes a factor is maybe capture some images of both the Andromeda Galaxy family as well as Stephan's quintet. I doubt I will come out and do that later this evening, although the sky is worthy of it. Current time is 9:01 and 53 seconds. Carpe Noctem.